Well, we knew this was coming. Governor Ferguson, esteemed Governor Ferguson of the state of Washington, says he will support a millionaire's tax in Washington state. This is the slippery slope. They're going to push this as, well, we're just taxing the wealthy. And then once they get it through the state Supreme Court that they've got loaded up with a bunch of libtards, once they get it through that, they're going to tax everybody. Guaranteed. This is just how that goes. Let's get into it. Here we go.
Yeah, Molly, Ferguson says his budget would cut programs and take money from the rainy day fund to avoid any sort of new taxes, but he is putting his very vocal support behind a new millionaire's tax just 2 years after the legislature prohibited any sort of state or local income tax. 'Tis the season when the stockings are hung at the Capitol Dome, and the governor will talk about how empty they are.
We started with a $1.6 billion shortfall in the supplemental budget.
The not-so-jolly...
Because you've overspent for decades. You've just got this laundry list of crap that you don't need. Criminal illegals, how much you spend on them? Homelessness, how much you spend on that? And it just keeps getting worse, right? Just a bunch of failed policy we don't need to pay for, but Democrats tax and spend, tax and spend, tax and spend. And so now they're just, licking their chops in an income tax. Oh yeah. I mean, they are just getting wood over this. I mean, it is so apparent. Oh, the state income tax is the greatest thing ever. I mean, yeah. And what is so phenomenal to me is you look at the numbers, the exodus from the blue states going to the red states, like exodus from California, going to Texas, going to Florida. You know, I mean, where they're leaving from has the highest state income tax, and the ones where they're going to, either low or none, and are pro-business. California, anti-business. Washington state is just a mini California. We look down south California and go, what are they doing down? Oh, we should follow that policy, even though it's just driving them into insolvency. But hey, let's not look at reality. Let's just go with ideology, because that seems to be working so well.
Forecast prompted Washington's governor to pitch a budget with significant cuts to the Commerce Department grants, higher education, and human services, eliminating some tax credits and taking $1 billion from the rainy day fund, all to avoid a new measure like the statewide payroll tax proposal. You were aware that there are members of the House and Senate who have pitched this idea of a payroll tax similar to what has happened in the city of Seattle and making that a statewide measure?
Not a big fan.
Is that DOA?
What I'll say is I'm focused on what I think is achievable.
Representative Chris Corey.
So he's talking about a payroll tax, and we've seen what happens when that is enacted in Seattle on a citywide basis. Now you've got Sean Scott proposing that on a statewide basis. So now businesses that have moved from Seattle to Bellevue, where I sit, are going to go, all right, Bellevue isn't safe either because now it's statewide. What state do we move to? Or businesses that are considering coming into the state of Washington go, nope, not so much. We're going to go to Texas. We're going to go to Florida. We're going to go to Nevada. We're going to go to Arizona. We're going to go somewhere other than a deep blue state.
Is the House Republican deputy leader.
We're Thelma and Louising off the cliff here. I'm just shocked that it's as bad as it is.
He also is saying, though, he's doing this without raising taxes.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's trying to claim that, but he's gone in and found a bunch of what he calls savings by removing tax incentives. And I don't know about you, Chris, but if I wasn't paying a tax for something last year and now I am this year, that's a tax increase.
Yet it is all likely setting the stage for another tax proposal.
To rebalance this unfair system, I support a millionaire's tax.
Unfair system, millionaire's tax. You know what's unfair is the regressive tax of gasoline in the state of Washington. We have some of the highest, because of our cap and trade carbon, absolute nonsense. Just silliness. We routinely have higher gas prices than California. Everybody bitches about gas prices in California. You guys got nothing. You guys have shrunk your refinery capability by just pull out a gun and shoot yourself in the foot. Then they do it again. You know what I mean? It's in sheer insanity. But what is regressive is Washington State's gas prices, which those on the very low end of the socioeconomic totem pole can least afford to pay $5 a gallon. Because that's consistently what Washington State gasoline here is in Western Washington, some of the highest in the nation. But we don't talk about that. We want to talk about an unfair system and then lead right into, well, we're going to tax millionaires because $1 million is the threshold now. If you make over $1 million, arbitrarily, Democrats, liberals, progressives had decided that $1 million is the capping point. Anything over that, tax the F out of it. Just tax it like there's no tomorrow. Should be good. Should work out fine. Yeah. Okay.
Let's make this historic change in this upcoming legislative session.
Okay.
Initiative 2 years ago that was approved by the legislature suggesting there cannot be an income tax.
Yep. So there's going to be a conversation along those lines, and different folks have different ideas. But what I would say in the conversations I've had with folks, I think Washingtonians, are very open to this conversation about millionaires.
Because they're retarded. People in Washington are mentally retarded, and that's why they keep going bluer. Even though blue policies have been proven to drive out big business, drop revenue, and then spread it over those who can least afford it. But hey, let's just keep going with it, because, why not? Socialism works for those who don't. You've got a socialist mayor coming in a few days to city of Seattle. Oh, it's going to be great for me, because I'm just going to have podcast after podcast after podcast. Hey, here's a failed decision. Oh, here's failed policy. Oh, here's failure. Oh, that failed? Huh, that business left? Huh, weird. Who knew, right?
And that could be the ultimate plot twist, a stocking stuffer for when the session gets underway.
Stuff this in your stocking, right? Stuff this in your stocking. Ugh. I mean, this is no shocker. This is no shocker. Washington State not having an income tax. I mean, how we've gotten this far, this long, is a shocker. But what's happening is that you are seeing blue become even bluer. You are seeing progressive become even more progressive. And when City of Seattle literally hires somebody with zero experience, not only on the business level or civic level, but life level in general, to run a $12 billion budget, something like that, $10 billion, City of Seattle, run a massive budget with 41 departments. When constituents and largely millennials hire that type of person, it's no surprise. The Washington Governor Bob Ferguson on Tuesday threw his support behind a proposed income tax on residents earning more than $1 million annually, because $1 million is where they've capped it. Oh, after $1 million, yeah. Oh. Yeah, you made $1 million. We're going to have to tax you, literally. And he's prepared to sign the policy into law next year. That's epic. What about the fact that it's illegal? Oh, we don't worry about the fact that flies in the face of the state constitution, and that it's been turned down 13 times. We're Democrats here in Washington State, so we're going to tax whatever we can, however hard we can, and you're going to like it. Put a smile on your face and ask for 2 more. Some legislative Democrats are eyeing a 9.9% millionaire's tax on adjusted annual gross income over $1 million. Where's that number come from? Where's that number come from? You know what I mean? There are lots of jobs where, hey, this skill set is so specific, and your work history and your education and your everything else, basically job experience, is so limited that I'm a business and I'm going to pay for that because I need that to run my company. Then you got enough of those people, and then you got numbnuts like Washington Democrats coming in and saying, oh, no, too much money. We need to distribute the wealth because we've got so many social programs that are unnecessary. We got to fund them, and we've got businesses leaving. And we've got wealthy people leaving. Jeff Bezos just left. Said, see you later, guys. Going to Florida, saving $1 billion. Ferguson endorsed this version of the proposal. Less than 0.5% of Washingtonians would be subject to the tax. Do you think those businesses are going to probably have those employees work remotely? Not a lot of guys working at a shop making over $1 million that need to go into work every day, are there? No. Yeah. Hey, we are moving our headquarters to Houston, like Chevron did down in California. Houston, we've got a problem. California charges too much in taxes. They've got ridiculous regulations. They're pushing out energy. They're pushing out big oil. We're going to Houston, going to Texas. So less than 5%, 0.5% of Washingtonians be subject to the tax, and it's expected to raise $3 billion per year. What's the offset, though? What is the offset of this absolute lunacy going to be? I mean, this is why Washington has been so successful, because we've been a pro-business, low-tax, no-income tax state. This slippery slope, this is the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end started a long time ago. Seattle's just, I mean, we got a statue of Lenin in Fremont neighborhood of Seattle. Lenin. Not John Lennon, right? I mean, revenue wouldn't hit state coffers until 2029. On Tuesday, the governor also released a spending proposal for the remainder of the current 2-year budget cycle. All right, he's trying to say, taxes, no new taxes. You have Ferguson's support. He said the new tax must be used to increase eligibility and payments under the state's working families tax credit. Okay, I'm bored. You know what I mean? Just like, Yep. Ferguson, a former 3-year term as state attorney general, said he's confident courts would uphold the new levy, millionaire's tax, even though the state Supreme Court has ruled that income taxes are unconstitutional. Well, he's got enough people on the state Supreme Court. They can make it. They can make this fly. Obviously, Democrats have done their homework. They've run everything here in the state of Washington, and they are collectively running it into the ground. It's going to be great because, again, podcast for days. All right. Less than 2 years ago, legislature approved an initiative to prohibit an income tax. Voters have repeatedly rejected income taxes over the years. That's why this one will fly, because there is this collective of folks saying, having too much money is moral bankruptcy. Making too much money is moral bankruptcy. And at the root of that is socialism. Socialism works for those who don't. So those who make the most, who have made the most of their lives, who make the most money, we got to tax them. We need to hold them accountable, right? We need them to pay their fair share, which means, having a whole bunch of social programs that you don't really need. And we don't need to be supporting, criminal illegals. We don't need to have our law enforcement not working with ICE. You've just got a whole bunch of ideology that is ass backwards, including millionaire tax. But we know it's coming. You know it's coming. And businesses, well, they will look at that and go, Representative 𝗪𝗏 Republican from Allen, Washington, called the income tax a non-starter given legal precedent. He also said the proposals avoids doing the hard work of stopping the spending addiction in Olympia, Washington. We are so addicted to spending. Spend. Because we're Democrats. Tax and spend. It's what we do. I'm not. Washington State is. And he fears lawmakers would later apply the tax more widely. That's exactly what's going to happen. No question about it. People don't want an income tax, said Couture, lead budget voice among House Republicans. Ferguson said he's open to an amendment to the state constitution codifying $1 million threshold for the income tax while setting it to rise with inflation. Oh, that's comforting. I want to be clear. I will not support an income tax for people who make less than $1 million in a year, he added. For now. I made that part up. You know that's coming. Guys, we're going to need everybody to chip in. Where those of you making 30 grand a year, even though you need about 90 to live here in Western Washington, we're going to need you to chip in. Therefore, we're going to do a 10% income tax on everybody. You got to pay your fair share. Got to pay your fair share. Those criminal illegals, though, they don't. They get free health care. They get free education. They get, free commercial driver's license. They get free everything. Right? Because that's fair. Progressives have been clamoring for an income tax on higher earners. They see it as a way to reduce the tax burden on lower income households and to avoid further cuts to services. You're going to have to cut some services and you're going to have to live within a budget, but we're not going to do that. So these taxes, they're inevitable. This is nothing new. It's inevitable, and it's just the direction things are going. And that's why you've got a massive shift towards red states that don't have state income taxes, that don't push out businesses. Look at Let's Go Brandon Johnson in Chicago. Yeah, his city council came up with a plan that avoids a government shutdown, and he called it morally bankrupt because they wouldn't do $33 a month per head of employees in companies over 500 people. $33 per employee per month is what he wanted to charge. New tax, head tax. And the city council said, no, you're going to push out even more big businesses. We need their revenue. Everybody knows that. But this progressive ideology, it just needs more dollars. It needs more money to fund nonsense that's completely unnecessary. But that's not how it's going to go. It's just going to keep getting worse. And I'll podcast it right here on News for Reasonable People. Thanks for joining. Love to have you subscribe. Hit that like button, that notification bell. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.